keep this as part of the cold open. Welcome to the land where we already recorded this. My pool's almost filled up. It's the land where we already recorded this intro once, and I want to cry because my computer muted me. I vividly remember clicking the unmute button because I know as soon as it starts recording, it mutes me, even though I have it unmuted already for my mic. And then I noticed the symbol saying that I was muted, and I was like, "What the hell are you talking about?" And then the whole entire thing, I was muted. But it's fine. I'm just gonna put some soy sauce on my plate with some sushi. It's fine. Oh, I'm doing the thing again where I'm instantly forgetting the name of the podcast. Welcome to Official Flower Podcast. A podcast where I hate my life. No, a podcast in which we read books. I'm Flower, aka Rose, and I'm currently eating sushi. That's my fun fact. I'm not gonna do the one about the fun fact is actually moisturized, but I already did a whole thing about that. It was like 10 minutes long about my whole entire moisturizing journey. Who cares anymore? Moisturize. It's good for you. The end.
Yeah, because you're sexually rusty. I do not want to hear it again.
It's great. What are you talking about? It's a great journey.
I love you. I'm watching reels again because, okay, anyways, I got off the be so proud. Hello, bestie.
Hello. You want to do your intro?
Again?
Yeah, I didn't pick up any of it. Just you went to do your intro, and then I heard nothing, and then I was like, hey, did you accidentally mute yourself? And then, next thing I know, it just dropped the call.
It got a little silent. Then I started panic speaking more, and then I looked down and the call was just not there, so, this is the fourth time we're doing this today, third time for this episode.
Mm-hmm.
My name is Fish, aka Stingray. Women. I'm not going through the Ripley Reels thing again, just women. Women.
I put a lot of wasabi in my mouth. It's burning. Oh, I forgot how much wasabi kicks. Oh, I can feel it in my nose.
Fun.
Yeah.
I'm just women, you just sometimes you just feel extra great. Those are those days.
Bella, are you gonna be our mascot? Yeah. We gotta dress you up as a fish.
Oh my lord.
No, you like that. Okay. Oh yeah, I should finish the intro. This is very much a stream of consciousness podcast where we talk like we do every day, except we're dead on the inside because we've done this intro so many goddamn times. Because every technological issue that could happen has happened. I am keeping an eye on that stupid mute button. Do not worry. But yes, it's very stream of consciousness, like our normal everyday conversations. And on today's episode, we are talking about a book in which I will not have to do all the freaking talking. A Curse of Dark and Lonely, which is a Beauty and the Beast retelling. The whole entire reason why we read this book this month is because I decided in the month of, it's April, right? I would read only retellings, except for one NetGalley book. I've read only retellings this month. This is one of them. It was a Beauty and the Beast one. It is a book I was planning to read that wasn't planned for a vlog because, despite me doing a Beauty and the Beast vlog, because it also fit Books and Lala's Buzzwordathon prompt for the month. And then I saw it was on your TBR when I went to make the list of all the books for the year. Well, no, it was even before that. Before even that, I was like, hey, can we read this book this month? Because I am only reading retellings this month. And you were like, sure, whatever, I don't care. And then I ended up planning the whole entire year. Like an hour later. It's fine. It's fine. But, yes, I have, for another vlog, or read for a vlog, 3 other Beauty and the Beast retellings. Which means, also, I read this book beginning of this month. Like 3 weeks ago. And
And I
one of
finished
the
it like 2 days ago.
yes, and one of the Beauty and the Beast retellings I read for that vlog, and this book I keep on complicating or mixing up which plot points are for which book. I keep on confusing the two in my head. Every once in a while, I'll think about a scene. I was like, wait a second, is this from Of Beast and Beauty, or is it from A Curse of Dark and Lonely? I don't know, and that is why you're in charge.
Listen, do you think I remember what happened in the book? I love that book. I gave it 4 stars. You think I remember what happened? Absolutely not. I'm very excited though because I really did enjoy it.
Mhm. Yes,
That's
yes,
like
yes.
as far as fantasy as I can get, and then I have a very good time. If it's anything more than that, I cannot handle it, and that's okay.
I think I rated it 3.5.
I
I'm
give
also
it four
eating
stars.
sushi right now. I don't know if I've mentioned this in this
You've
version.
eaten a lot this
Fuck
podcast, so
knows.
it's so fun.
Yeah, I did rate it 3.5. I am contemplating reading the second one. I don't know.
I
I will
will be
explain
reading.
why at the end. Because it has
I
to
will.
be a book.
I will be reading it because I am a normal person who finishes series.
I wonder what that's like. Actually, Bloodmarked is, well, Legend Bird is only a duology, so technically I am in the middle of finishing a series right fucking now. And also the book that I finished today is a standalone fantasy. Fucking imagine that.
Okay.
Imagine that. Fucking could never. Actually, I did
Well,
read one last year, and then like a week later, it was released that came out with it's gonna come out with a prequel.
I'm technically reading like 10 series right now, give or take.
Do you
And
want me
some
to
of them
pull
I
up
just
my document that has all the series I'm reading right
no.
now?
I'm just saying that one of them
I
doesn't
will
even
do
have
it.
the next book out, and then the rest of them I'm like basically done with. So, and that's what I'm doing next month. I'm finishing and continuing series.
I'm in the middle of 10 this year alone.
Girl,
Oh, I haven't even talked about the ones total. Ever
this
total,
week.
I have 28 series I've ever finished. 55
It's
I've
embarrassing.
DNF'd.
That's embarrassing, Bestie. I'm
Wait,
so
over
sorry.
5 to DNF'd. And 62 ongoing.
That's so embarrassing. Like, that's embarrassing for you. Like, I'm embarrassed for you, Bestie.
I'm embarrassed for me too. I love it. Um, but yeah, it's been a long time since I've read it, and so I don't really remember much. And also, I keep on complicating the plot with another book. And you don't remember anything for the most part.
I do, but I don't.
Brilliantly, before I started to read it, decided to look up if there was any summaries online, and I found two that are pretty much heavily detailed. This one's a bullet list. I like this one more. But I skimmed them. It seems to be pretty accurate. I feel like between the two of us, we can fill in the missing pieces. Um, it's more in depth than the things we never got over one. So yeah. Thank you for recaptains for this because honestly, thank you. Also, I love how their whole entire stick on their website is like Captain America-esque shield with a book cover in the middle instead of a star, and like a Wonder Woman or Supergirl, I guess, type woman over the title on the website, and like yeah, it looks cool, okay? I like it. Anyways, it has a very nice summary of the whole entire freaking book, so we don't have to worry too much about it. Thank God.
Well, listen, if there was some form of like tension and or intimacy, I will know what happens, because that's just who I am as a person. Like you want to talk about the when he the before the fucking when when they go to the was it it's the place by the sea. I forgot what it's called, something more, and
Mm-hmm.
then she's like, teach me how to do the bow, and then they kind of get close and they do the bow, but then they get attached, and then
The knife
it's
throwing.
everything all about that because I was screaming in the DMs about that while you were sleeping.
Listen, hear me out. The two things I remember most about this book: the ending epilogue. One, because you reminded me of it yesterday, but two, because I have thoughts and opinions based off of this synopsis of the second book. And the second thing,
I haven't read the synopsis of the second one.
I'll explain my issues. The second thing is a scene when he is having meetings with important people and whatnot, and leaves her behind, and she ends up going after him, and you freaked out and stopped reading in the middle of a chapter. And the only reason I remember is because you stopped reading in the middle of a chapter, and then you complained that you stopped reading in the middle of the chapter.
Okay, I stopped reading in the chapter 2 different times. Okay, I stopped reading in the chapter that same chapter like before because there's like multiple breaks in that chapter
Mhm.
specifically. But I was feeling bad, so I stopped in the break before the next thing happened. So I didn't know that was happening yet until after I continued reading. Like I never stopped in the middle of the chapters. I need this to be clear. I never stopped in the middle of the chapters, but I was feeling so bad physically that I literally just turned my Kindle off and went to bed. I
Mhm.
took a nap. And I woke up and it was fine. And then a couple days later, I picked it back up and went on with my life. Um, so I stopped it then, and then I stopped reading for like at least 30 minutes later on. And it was not even that bad. I'm secondhand embarrassed and like why people make decisions, why,
Mhm.
that sort of
Mhm.
thing. Like I understand why because that's just her character, but like I was like, mm.
Yes. Now one thing before we go into the plot, one thing I will or not condemn, but appraise this before, I guess. I don't know. Um, disability representation.
Yes.
I was looking into it. Well, I was talking about it with multiple people on threads that you couldn't be there for. Um,
Don't remind me.
I know, right? But I was talking to someone when I was reading it. And they said that they loved it. And that it felt them very seen in the disability representation area. And I was like, we love that, okay? But two, I forget exactly what the character has.
So.
I know she has a limp because
Oh,
yes, cerebral palsy. Thank you.
I don't
As
know. I can't speak. It's fine.
as soon as you tried to say it, my brain clicked. And because of it, she has some limpness in one of her legs, and stuff like that. But she's like still able to ride a horse. She lives her life to the fullest. Not despite of it, but you know. And I was looking into it, and from what I can tell, the author doesn't have that exact disability, but she wrote this book in mind to put in the disability representation she always wanted to read when she was younger, which we love.
For real. I don't think I've
What an
ever read a book
icon.
with a character that had cerebral palsy, so like that was an experience.
Yeah, no,
It
like
was
this is
good to
something totally
learn.
new. Also, the way that like not even like it's not like something that's just brushed off. Like it's something in the book that's talked about multiple times. Like the way that different people treat her because of it. All this stuff. And yeah, it's a good time. I'm gonna eat another piece of sushi and I'll start reading the summary.
I believe in you.
Keep on putting too
That's
much
what
wasabi on.
I'm saying. He said.
Okay, so there are three main characters. Um,
They're all so hot. Why do they interact like that?
I don't know. There's Ren. There's Commander Gray. Well, Ren is Prince Ren. There's Commander Gray, and then there's Harper, right? So Ren is our beast. He's also the prince of this kingdom, and he's
He's
cursed
so
by
real.
an enchantress named Lady Lilith. Um, we learn later on, basically she tried to get the king to like tap that, but he wouldn't. So she goes to the prince instead, and then like he does do it, but then he like brushes her off the next morning, and she gets pissed. So this happens, kind of. Yeah. So it literally says when he rejects her after a brief fling. She becomes angry at this rejection, curses Ren to live in a perma autumn until someone falls in love with him, but also he turns into a beast after every season, I guess. Each autumn season, yes. And if he doesn't find someone by the end of each autumn season, he'll kill everyone. And it has been hundreds of years, I think, of this.
Like at least 275.
Yeah. The what I
Also,
wish it went more into was the psychological effects that this has had on Ren and Gray. Because Commander Gray is kind of the only one left. I think shortly after the first season ended, and they realized how dire this whole situation is, they basically got everyone else, everyone who had not died after the first season, out of the castle. And everything outside the castle itself in the kingdom runs at a different time. So like time's still moving for them, and they're like experiencing a lot of political stuff going on. Kingdoms trying to take over their kingdom, all
hold
that
on.
fun
I
stuff.
have two things. There's two things. One, what was Lilith expecting to happen when she snuck into the Crown Prince's chambers? I don't think she thought he was gonna marry her after that. Uh,
No, the way that she
but
prides
also,
the king first, and the king is known for like sleeping around with women and then dropping them, and then she goes for the prince, who is low-key known for the same
over
thing.
300 years, 300 seasons.
Mm, yeah.
Why would they still think? Why I'm so confused by that now that I think about it. It's been over 300 seasons.
Mhm.
Yet time is moving slowly out there, but not as slowly as it is for them. I understand that. But at that point, 300 years, and they still think everyone is alive.
Mhm.
They're not concerned about why everyone is still alive.
Yeah. The everyone outside the castle assumes that
They're
they know of a beast that attacks. They also know of other kingdoms that are attacking their homes and whatnot. The way I'm talking with my hands and my watch just informed me I got my steps for the hour. Thank you, watch. Um, and they assume that the king and his family in the castle know about this stuff and have just locked themselves up into the castle and ignores it all.
Yeah, but it's been years at this point. So like I
Yeah.
don't understand. Do they
How
think
do they think
that
they get food?
Lynn took over and like continued and moved on with his life? Or like why would they think that king is still there and alive if it's been like 300 years?
I
Why
don't
how
know.
does time work for them?
How do they think like food gets there? Like we know that food magically reappears, but they don't know that. So how do they think they're getting any fucking supplies?
I
Like
don't understand. I don't know. I don't think we're supposed to
because like
actually question.
all trading in this whole entire area has stopped, like all this stuff. Anyways, Commander Gray is like the only one left. After they kicked everyone out after the first season, he was the guy who was put in charge before all this happened of protecting Ren, right? And so he sees it as his duty to protect Ren from this curse and do what he can to help him out. So like he helps distract the beast so that it kills no one else, all this kind of stuff. And so he's kind of the only one left, and they like spend a lot of time together. So at the start of every season, he has like this bracelet thing from Lilith that makes it so he can go to another realm, which is what we consider typical everyday life for us, right? To get a girl to bring them back to their kingdom, and and then Ren has to try to romance them in time for them to fall in love with him, or else the whole cycle begins again. Um, and not all the time do they survive. Good times. So it's at the point where Gray's about to go do this. So Gray goes to do this, and then it cuts to Harper, who is a lookout for her brother, who works for a mobster, beating people up, to get money because that they owe him the mobster money because their dad borrowed a lot of fucking money, and they ran out on them, and their mother's dying, from cancer, like she only has a few months to live, all this stuff, and so she's being the lookout, because that's the only thing that he'll let her do, because like despite he's like this big muscly guy and all this stuff, and she like knows how to fight and some things,
Oh, he's flirty. We love him.
he doesn't really want her to be in trouble or anything. Like, it's his way of protecting her, despite the fact that she doesn't need the protection, right? Right. So she's the lookout, and she sees this drugged out girl being kidnapped by Gray, and so she decides to beat this man's up. She's saying this
Honestly,
girl,
her was so real.
and we love her for it. Iconic. And as she's fighting Gray, and they're on top of each other fighting, the spell thing switches so that Gray ends up back into the kingdom while he's got his hold onto Harper, so she ends up there too, and now she's the girl for the season. There's nothing they can do about it until the end of this one, right?
Right.
Um, the way I managed to remember this, and I'm having to find where I am in this summary because of it. Um, Oh, where they are is called Emberfall. Good thing that they put that in the summary because I did not remember that. Think I remember things not in this economy. Um, I'm putting more wasabi on my sushi. Give me a second. Um, so and I quote the summary. Harper is told the curse is about the curse and is like, "Lol, I'm not going to fall in love with my kidnapper," and then attacks Gray and Ren and tries to escape. She is stopped from doing so. I mean, that's not a lie. That is what happens. um, she
Yes.
is like, what the fuck? About this whole entire kidnapping thing, and like supposed to fall in love with their kidnapper, and she's like, no, that's weird, my dude. Very much the type of heroine you'd want in this situation. Like when you read these type of
Yes.
books, she's the heroine that you want them to be, and usually it's not. Usually it's a girl who's like, I'm not gonna fall in love with you, and then instantly do. No, but she's like fighting along the way. 'Cause she's like, this is weird. He's literally my kidnapper. We love it. So
Yeah, so
much.
she tried to run away, and that doesn't happen, so they locked her in her room, and the next part is one of my favorite parts, right,
You're skipping
because,
so
like,
far ahead.
she tried to escape by climbing down the fucking trellis.
Yes. Oh my god. And then she jumps. Yeah. But before all that, yeah, so her and Gray fight some more. Ren calls him down. And is like, I do not want to harm a lady. And she's like, bitch, I'm no lady, and you already harmed me. It's called kidnapping. Like, what the fuck are you talking about? I love her so much sometimes. But basically they give her a room, which is technically Ren's sister's room, mostly because time resets every morning to the same day over and over again, but from the first year. So, like, he knows that that sister would always have brunch in the morning and whatnot, so whenever a lady wakes up in this room, she will have food all out for her. So this way, like, all this stuff happens, right? Also, it's, like, a very nice room. It's got floral stuff. I would love it. I don't think Harper likes it, but I think it's my vibe with all the floral stuff.
I
Um,
feel like I would think it's pretty, but I don't think I would want to stay in there. Does that make sense?
mhm. But, like, there's always
Like,
magical, like,
yeah.
food in the kitchen is being made despite the fact that there's no actual cooks in there to be made by. It's like invisible people doing it, like it was that day, the original year. Same thing with the music, all that type of stuff, right? Um, and so she decides, hey, I'm not gonna just stay here. I'm gonna find a way out. And so she climbs down the trail. She already mentioned this. And then there's like some falling, blah blah blah.
That was so
she
funny.
she steals a horse.
His horse.
Yes. Um, while she's doing this, Lilith arrives and rubs it in Ren's face a bit more about all the stuff. She tortures Ren and Gray a bit. Does a lot of magic weird stuff. Tells him that this will be the final round of Autumn, and if Harper doesn't fall in love with him, then he'll stay a beast forever. So dun dun dun. Stakes are higher. Ren asks Gray to kill him if he doesn't succeed in breaking the curse. And I quote this summary: Gray refuses because bros.
Bros. If it wasn't for the ending, I would still be like, they need to be a couple.
You're so right. Because I wanted to be a throuple, and then that happened, and then I went.
Like, why are they just flirting with each other like that? Like, yeah, y'all been together for like 300 years. You're trying to, like, why are y'all flirting with each other? Like, you're trying to look the other eyes and tell me that all these people are flirting with each other constantly? Like, huh?
Hear me out. Ren was known for being a womanizer and flirting with people and getting a lot of ladies in his bedroom and all this stuff right before all this. So you're telling me now, after all these years, he has not really banged anyone when there's a man right there? You're telling me.
Listen.
There's a whole thing in Game of Thrones about this, about, yeah, I'm not gonna go into it, but like it was reminding me of that. Anyways, um, so, oh yeah, so Harper, steals the horse, she goes into the woods, as soon as she crosses the border, it's like a different season and all this stuff. I think it's winter, and pretty, not that far in, she comes across a group of men who are burning down houses and inns. Uh, and they tell her they're taking the land for the crown. Except we know that Ren isn't the one who's done this. She doesn't know this until she like actually asks him. That's another thing about her. When she wants to know something, or if she suspects him of something, she just instantly brings it up, and so that he can tell her what's really happening. So there's no miscommunication because she speaks her mind, and he straight up answers her. Beautiful.
They're so beautiful. I appreciate them so much.
Um,
This communication. This book, I would have ripped my hair out.
how's it already 7 p.m.?
I don't know.
Anyways, yeah, there's been a window in our kitchen that's been broken about the long amount of time that my mom's been alive. like 50ish years. We're finally getting it fixed. There's like a
Okay.
crack all the way across it. Like it's all the way across. It's only like we keep it together with tape. It's a fun time. And apparently it's only gonna be $500, 560 to fix it, which is not bad.
I have no
Um,
concept of window prices, so I'm
I
gonna
don't either, but I was low key looking them up, and like they can be kind of expensive. But like he said it was a
fly
pretty
there.
simple window when he was measuring it, and whatnot. So you know, good times. What
Yeah.
was I talking about? Oh yeah, so there's the woman who lives in the house with her kids. I think there's three of them. Uh, the rest of her family is dead. And whatnot. And so also is insinuated assault against not only her but also the children. Um,
Yeah. Not cool.
and whatnot. And Harper comes up and is like, "I'm not about
Man.
this," so she fights them off. But then one of them almost kills her. But then uh, Gray and Ren come up behind her and arrive just in time to shoot them with bows. We love them for this.
Real. Bow and arrows
So
are sexy, okay?
yeah. Ren. So she straight up goes up to Ren and he's like, "Hey, they said this is for the crown, and you're the crown. So what's going on?" And he's like, "Not me. It's someone else. Trust me." They make this whole plan. They decide to take uh this family of four to a nearby inn that's technically blocked down. As soon as they realize who Ren is, they let them all in, start giving them food and whatnot and rooms to sleep in, uh, and whatnot.
Honestly, I love the family in the end. They're
Yes,
just
they're great.
so, you
It's a
know,
family of three. It's the husband, wife, and their son, and whatnot. They automatically assume Harper is a lady, and she's keep on being like, "I'm not a lady," and all this stuff. And she doesn't really know how to communicate with people here. All this. Um,
real.
so they're like hanging out, all this fun stuff. Um,
Hear me
now
out. If I
that
was
Ren has
her,
made,
I would also have the same reaction to being called my lady. Like, I
I
would be,
know,
like,
right?
weird about it first. But I feel like as time goes on, I'd be like, yes, I am my lady and nobody else. Don't, my name doesn't actually exist, you know? Like, I don't know. I just, as time went on and everyone just kept calling her my lady, I was like,
Mhm.
okay.
The dog's looking at me. Bella, you don't want that. I put way too much wasabi on that piece. Oh my god. I feel it in my nose again. Oh. Um, so, since Ren has made an appearance, people start talking. Um, there's now hope, a little bit of hope. Some people still don't trust him because they're like, "Hey, you locked yourself off for this amount of time while all the shit was happening. What the fuck?" But he decides to start trying to help his people again. Um, they start making up a lie about Harper, because there's only like a few reasons why he would be traveling with a lady. One, um, he's or she's his lover. They're sleeping together, right? She's a servant, or she, and if she's a servant, she's probably sleeping with him, or she's a princess. So they make up the lie that she is a princess from a different country far away, that they call DC.
It's so funny how they
It's
just DISI.
yeah, it's fucking hilarious. Um, and that her father has a large army, and she is proposed or they're engaged. Her and Ren are to make it so that her father will send over an army to help protect the kingdom and all this stuff. Uh, and so everyone like really loves her. Everyone that she meets instantly loves her because they're like, wow, this princess is willing to fight off rapists and murderers, people, arsonists, and killers with her bare hands over random people that she's never met
She's so
before. Like, we
real.
praise
Yeah.
this woman. I'm like, I vote her for president. Let's go.
Real.
I know, right? Um, so, but on top of that, no one outside the castle knows that Ren's entire family's dead. So they're like, oh, it's the king, all this stuff, and Ren is technically the king now. Despite the fact that he still calls himself prince all the fucking time. Um, Ren and Gray tell Harper that Lilith went after Ren because his grandfather killed her people. He basically did a genocide against every witch, right? Every magical person,
So what do
and
witches do? Why in all fantasy universes, why are witches hated? Like, all they did was do
I know,
little
right?
magic and, like, exist and be fruity because they're witches.
because they're witches. Um, no, so like it's this whole thing where when a witch dies, their power goes on to another witch. So because all the witches are dead, all the power went to Lilith. And all this stuff. There is a thing at the end where she feels power of another's, which means there's another witch somewheres. Uh, but basically she has all the power. That's why she's super powerful. And all this stuff. And that's why she does not like Ren's family and is doing all this. Good times. Um, she wanted revenge. And she's also just yeah. And I quote: Harper and Co. return to the inn. Thank you. There's some things where like she plays card games with Gray, and there's this whole thing where this whole card game, each of them look at it a different way. Like she just looks at it as a basic card game. Gray looks at it as like a way to pass time while doing his job and communicate with people. Ren looks at it as a way to look at people's different diplomatic and attack strategies and learn about a person. And it's very interesting how this game literally has a through line throughout this whole entire fucking book. And it's
I
low-key
love that. I
important.
really love.
Like, what the hell? Excuse the sounds of me licking my fingers from Ginger. I love Ginger. Ignore it.
Also, the fact that every time that they, like, every time Gray and Harper interact, the fact that Ring gets jealous, like,
Yep, yep. Yep, he sees them, gets jealous, makes her go off to bed. She's technically sleeping on the couch at this point. Um, so he makes her go to bed, in his technical bedroom. And he stays up with Gray to like play. He also like makes Gray go out into the middle of a snowstorm, to be guard, for no fucking reason. Because he's jealous. And then he'll go out after him and they'll just sit there and talk for a bit. All this type of stuff happens. But eventually they leave and then they return, to take food to family because like they just put 4 random people onto this family of 3. They probably don't have enough food there because the inn's kind of technically low key being out of business because all these people coming around burning places and all this stuff, right? So she decides she's gonna take the food, and she just goes off on their own. And then Ren finds out instantly, almost every single time, and starts following her. And it's like, bitch, what the fuck? And she's like, hey, I'm doing this, and he's like, I want to come with you. Like, it's a good idea. I want to come with you. And she's like, oh, okay.
I love that she's surprised that he's not stopping her. Like,
Yeah,
I
and that he's
understand,
willing
but
to
like,
accept her ideas and like thinks that her ideas are good and willing to follow them and all this stuff. But yeah, they take food there, and when they are, the same men, are in process of burning it down. Uh, Ren realizes that they are working for a woman named Karis Laron, who is a queen of another country. Um, and makes a plan to have Gray put the royal army back together so that they can at least look like they have an actual force to defeat these people who are trying to steal their kingdom. Good times. Um, we love that.
respectfully, I
Um,
did not fit any of that. Like, I didn't care about the Karis stuff. Like, I didn't care. I did not care about them at all. I was just like,
I was here loving the thruple.
yes.
Harper asks Ren for a meeting with Lilith because she wants to go home. At which point he's like, "It's not a good fucking idea, but I'll ask her because like she's a scary ass woman, but I'll ask her for you because you want it." Type thing. Um,
He's so real for that though, because he could have just said
the
no
way
and just
this
gone.
whole entire summary skips over the scene where Gray teaches her while he's on guard at this inn how to throw knives.
Yeah,
It's
yes.
a very
I wanted
important
to.
fucking scene because then Ren is watching them from above because he never fucking sleeps. He watches them from above and is watching this happen and just he's just seething with jealousy as more and more time goes on because he's
He's so
watching this
real.
happen and he's like they connect better than I can connect with her, but I need to like have the one be the one that she falls in love with to break the fucking curse and all the shit. And then
Hear
of
me
course
out.
Lilith shows up and starts torturing him psychologically with this information, and he's like, "Fuck you." It's a good time. And then he does ask
Hear me
her
out.
for the meeting and whatnot.
Hear me out. He's jealous because they're spending time together, but he's also jealous that he has to share Gray, and you can't change my mind. No, because like the way they all flirted with each other, like I was giggling and kicking my feet. Like they were just flat out flirting with each other, and you can't change my mind.
I agree with you. Um, so he does get the meeting with Lilith for Harper. Um, But
I
at this
don't
point, they're back at
know.
the castle, and I think Gray and Ren were like sword fighting or whatnot. Play sword fight. They do it sometimes for fun, right?
Wait, no, I'm sorry, the way the sword fighting is described, you're gonna look me in the eyes and tell me that was they just did that all the time for
Yeah, apparently you just sword fight with your bros for fun. I can think of another way you could sword fight, anyways.
fun. Because why were they written like that if the ending is just gonna be like that? Like that's not normal. Like I don't care. Hold on, I gotta do some research.
You gotta do some research. What the hell kind of research are you doing? Um, anyways, so they're sword fighting. The Lilith shows up, starts torturing Gray. I think she starts torturing Gray, and then Ren forces her to switch her tactics onto him, because he doesn't like watching Gray be tortured. Despite the fact that Gray's like, well, you're my prince, my job's literally to die for you, so like, it's my literal job, and he's like, I don't care.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Not I. Okay, I went to go see what type of fan fiction is out there. Not the first one. I clicked on Archive of Our Own, obviously. Even though I've never read on Archive of Our Own. Anyways, the first one that comes up is uh, A Curse of Darker Lily slash Twilight.
It sounds sick, and I want it.
I know.
Um, so Harper comes in. It's like, hey, uh, there's like a bunch of other stuff that I feel like I've left out, like the single mom there of the three. She becomes Harper's lady's maid basically, so that she can have a job and all this stuff, but also like she has a home and she's well taken care of, and she knows this. And she has a friend. She feels like she's more of like a mother figure to her. It's real nice. But she goes in, sees this, and so Harper gets real upset and attacks Lilith with a knife.
She's horrible for that.
And so Lilith attacks her back and scars her face right up. And she like passes out. There's like a bunch of stuff where they're like, "Oh my God, Harper!" There's this whole story spread that like the evil sorceress that cursed the kingdom with the beast attacked the prince, and Harper went to protect him and ended up getting
Like
cut up in
this
it
is
and
so
scarred, and
decoded.
that's like to prove that she's like the treaty that they have is really nice, blah blah blah. So like people who already love her even more now. She willingly scarred up her face for this man's all this stuff. Um, Good times. She's out of it for a bit because of it. And during this time, Gray starts putting together a royal guard.
I need to inform you of something very, very important.
Mm-hmm.
There's a fan fiction, and the name is a lyric from State of Grace, and that is so you coded, and I needed to let you know.
I love State of Grace.
I know, that's
That's
why
in
I
like
told
my
you.
top five Taylor Swift songs.
I know, that's why I told you. I love how we both have like a top five Taylor Swift song that's from Red. Like mine is Tetris and yours is State of Grace, and we're so real for that. Um, so you never saying I loved in Shades of Wrong by people.
Right is when I started to get back into Taylor Swift.
I found one that I think is all three of them. No, yeah, it is so real.
You having a good time there?
I'm still looking. I think it's just like a little bit, but not like a little bit.
Do I have to run?
Yeah, I think running away or not running. So real. So real. Because why were they written like that? If the ending is like, oh yeah, they're kind of brothers, they might be brothers. Like, I don't understand.
Anyways, so they start creating guard. So one of the people, I don't know if that's later on, or at this current point, but there is one who is an actual soldier for the army and whatnot. And in the process, one of his arms was injured and it was amputated, right? Um, Harper finds him in the woods. I think it's when she goes to take food to the inn to help them out, right? She runs into him, and because of it, like he transports a lot of goods, and so he drops a lot of it because of it, from his cart, and so she helps him put like back in. He's like, you don't have to help me, I can still do stuff. And she's like, it's fine. I don't like that's not why I'm helping you. I'm
That
helping you
was
because
really
I have
Archer.
this issue. When she talks Gray and Red into letting him join the army, despite the fact that he has an amputated arm, because that doesn't mean he can't still work. We love that. And all that stuff. So they go to a nearby town, to like show their presence, to show that they're like here trying to help out, blah 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 blah. And while there, they are attacked.
But the most important part, who cares about the attack? Rin tries to show Harper how to shoot a bow and arrow, and oh my lord!
Yes, that
oh
happened.
my lord!
Yes. So
I hope you know I don't read fan fiction like you do. Like I haven't read fan fiction really since I was like 14. But I opened two and put I opened two in Google Chrome and now they're waiting for me. Anyways,
so after that they go. Well, they do the bow stuff. They go to eat food. And the singer comes up to like be like, hey, I can sing. And then she's like, hey, I heard you're like looking for people to join your army, your guard. And he's like, yeah. And she's like, well, can I like try? And Harper instantly is like, yes. And he's like, I mean, I guess. And eventually she does try. She does show up for the interview thing,
yes,
tryouts,
her name is
and
Job.
she gets in, and she becomes Harper's personal guard. And I love that. Thank you very much. Anyways, at one point, Red and Harper go off on their own while in this town, and they slow dance and almost kiss. But then they have to return to the castle.
Listen, I was gripping the fucking walls during that
Me
because,
too.
like, between the arrow, the bow and the arrow, and then the dancing, like, I was losing my mind. I was, hold on, I need you to understand. Now my earbuds died. I need you to understand. Hold on. I'm moving as fast as I can. This was me. I love when things actually send so quickly, but it was just me, you know, like.
How did I know? How did I know that was the one? Yes, so that happens. They return to the castle, they go their separate ways. Like Harper stands by the fact that she doesn't think she's gonna fall in love with him in this time slot, because like who would fall in love with someone in that time slot, especially when all this other shit is happening? He knows this. Like she's told him, hey, this isn't gonna happen, and he's like, that's fine. There's also this part where she brings up the fact that her mother only had like 3 months to live, when she was kidnapped and all this stuff, which means like she's gonna die before she gets home, and he like feels really bad about this, and is really like caring for her for this and whatnot. But basically that night after they almost kiss, Lil starts torturing him again, and he starts losing hope, really fast.
I'm sorry, no, wait, I just thought about something, because I took a picture of this one line that was happening right after that, because he was like, hold on, let me find it.
But yeah, he basically wants to back out of his and Harper's plan to like try to stop this other kingdom and all this stuff, because of this, good times.
I'm confused. Maybe I didn't take a picture of it then. I took a picture of this one. Maybe I took a picture and sent it to you. Because I'm trying to figure out what this is. Oh, that one. Okay, but like, there's this, no, because, hold on. We know this is so important. Because it was like right after the dancing and they came home, blah, 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 blah. But like, I need to find it. Because like, he wanted to go back with her. Like, he wanted to go into her room, blah, 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 blah. You know? But he was like, what if I don't? And that's when he gets tortured by Lilith.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm trying to find this, because I took a picture and I sent it to you, because I was screaming, because he said something in his mind, whatever it's called, you know? He
internal monologue?
Yeah.
I'm just gonna continue.
I don't know how far back it is, though.
You'll find it. I'll just continue the plot until then. Hundreds of people arrive to help enjoy the guard and just work at the castle. This is when the woman who's the singer shows up, and all this stuff. Ren goes to visit another town, to do a bunch of like politicking stuff. And he leaves Harper behind. She feels distraught about this. He leaves her behind because he's losing hope with all this stuff, because Lilith is basically torturing him every fucking night, psychologically and physically. And so because of this,
I found it.
okay.
Hello, I found it. Okay, the door to Freya's room eases open. Harper jumps and takes a step back. Freya's eyes flash wide. Oh, she bows with courtesy and speaks softly. Your Highness, my lady, forgive me. I was going to stoke the fire in the bedroom. What a coincidence, I think. I was considering the very same thing.
As soon as you said stoking the fire, I knew what part you were talking about.
No, I lost my mind.
I physically laughed. I physically went, like,
He's so real for that. Like, I can't. Like, Liz, hello?
Yes, so, Ren goes to visit this other town to politic and stuff, leaves her behind, torture, blah, 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 blah. Harper does not know that this is happening. He is distancing himself from her, one, because she keeps on saying that she's not gonna follow him in this time period.
Also,
he accepts this, and so he just pushes her away because of that, but also so that she does not get in Lilith's crossfire in the meantime.
I think you saying that reminded me of what the other picture I took of is. So that comes up soon, but not yet.
Okay.
Why this is okay.
So she does not like this. She feels like she's being left behind, for no fucking reason. So she decides to go after him with her personal guard woman, who's really good at bad stuff.
Her name is Zoe. Thank you.
This is the part where you just stopped reading.
Because I couldn't handle it, okay? Like, it was fine, it was actually fine, I was just being dramatic, but, like, what if I wasn't dramatic and it was so crushing?
Literally, you were being dramatic and I told you so, and then you still stopped reading. I was like, okay.
I finished the book. Now my earbud's dying, hold on.
Yeah, I could tell. The instant change of quality. Instant. Yeah, so...
I'm sorry, okay? I can't do anything about it.
I know. So they decide to go in through the back way just because, and they notice a dead body of one of the guards out there, and they're like, so weird. So they enter through the kitchen. The guys who live there, I forget their official titles and whatnot, are like, who are you? How dare you? And he's like, this is my princess. What's going on? She's like, hey, one of our guards is dead outside. And so Greg goes out and checks it out, and he's like, there is. And so there's like this whole thing. And then eventually, they sit them down and they learn that one of the two men in charge, really just does not like him and wants to like
treason. Even though I don't know what
treason things for money.
Listen, so I don't even know what treason is, to be exact. I'm not gonna lie. Like, what is treason? I just know it's a bad thing.
So now me just imagining you committing gay treason crimes and then not knowing that you're committing treason because you don't know what treason is.
That would happen to me, okay? Don't laugh. That would happen to me.
I know that makes it even funnier. Oh my god.
People like, you're getting arrested for treason. I'm like, what the fuck is treason? What do you mean, me getting arrested?
And then they'll put me on the stand. Your defense team will put me on the stand. I'll be like, but it's gay crimes, which means technically it's fine. Commit gay crime, everyone.
Listen. I would be sitting there on the stand. My defense, I don't know what the fuck treason is, so I know I can't be guilty of something if I don't know what it is.
I mean, that is the defense way to go. I mean, as someone who watches a lot of court stuff sometimes, yeah.
So, like, I genuinely don't know what treason is. Like, don't tell me either just in case I ever get in that situation.
This will be put into evidence in this situation, and I love that. But yeah, basically he commits treason for money. And so basically Ren makes it so that he has to, one, pay people fair price. Make it so that they have fair prices for their products, all the stuff. He helps out the kingdom, all the stuff, and he won't kill them. And that's a fun time. When this happens, Ren is like very angry with Harper, and all this stuff. And they return to the castle. He's like,
I have a quote from when they're running back. It just made me, okay.
Wasabi in my throat. Okay. Wasabi in my throat. Okay. 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 I don't even
Why
know what
did
the
I
more
cut
sentence
it
is.
at the in the middle of that sentence? That sentence is so good. This tiny bit of space we occupy, as if the night wants to keep this moment private. Why did I cut the rest of the beginning of that sentence off? Anyways, I know it's Lilith. It has to be Lilith. You made an alliance with me. Keep it. Tell me what's going on. He
Mhm.
inhales. I watch his broad chest expand. His eyes flash with anger, a sure prelude to more fury. But then his breath hitches and he kind of deflates. We ride in silence. It's like all the fight has gone out of him. Ren, I whisper, I will fuck.
Yep.
I will fuck. I will release you from our bargain, he says softly. I no longer have anything to offer. I turn and look over my shoulder at the guards. Fall back, I say, please. Gray meets my eyes and gives me a nod. They drop back a dozen yards. I don't want you to release me, I say. I want to know what's going on. Well, sorry, I'm delusional.
Just the
Let me
way.
have my moment. Okay, I need you to know I read that specific line, and that line is so me, and you know that it's so me right after things occurred. You know the things I'm talking about. So think of it. I literally sobbed out loud when I read that line. You know,
Mhm.
um, you know what I mean. Um,
I thought
he
so.
doesn't answer. He says nothing. We ride for miles. Finally, he says, "I feel trapped, my lady." His
I
voice is
see.
so quiet. I swore of bargaining with you, but I cannot. But I find I cannot invite you into your presence again. I inhale to speak, but then he looks over at me. I'm sorry. That whole section is so me that
Mhm.
I
Mhm.
literally took a picture of it. Like the book is on my Kindle. I took my phone, took a picture of it with my phone. Like
Mhm.
I can't. Like I literally cannot.
Yeah.
No, that
So
one line. Think about me post.
okay. So yeah, basically she finally learns that Lilith has been torturing them every night. Um, and she's like, "Bitch, why did you not tell me? I could protect you." And he's like, "It's not your job." And she's like, "Too bad. You're sleeping in my room now." So now they
No,
basically
she's
share
so
a
real
room.
for that. Like I can't. Like she's like, no, you say it's not my job, but it kind of is because I say it is. And I'm like, bestie, you're so real. I love
Mhm.
you. I love the character. You know, characters are a very big thing for me. So this whole thing had me going fucking crazy. Okay,
Yep.
'cause these fucking characters, I'm like chewing off my own fucking arms over here. Okay.
Yep. So basically every night he spends now in Harper's room because Lilith won't come after him then. And so yeah, they spend a lot of time together because of this. And this is when the bond between them specifically really starts, and I love it. Um, so
This is when we also learn that Red basically never sleeps.
yeah,
And he's so
uh,
real for that. But like,
honestly,
bestie, sleep. You're fine. You're fine. It's okay.
uh, so Harper asks for fighting lessons, and the guards and Ren comply. It's a good
Characters,
time.
people, etc. Like I don't know.
Yeah. Um, Lilith
Can't
brings Harper a
possibly like.
message about her mother dying, and gives Gray the ability to world hop whenever he wants, not just the start of autumn. Um, when she realizes Gray and Harper have bonded, basically to make Gray and Harper's bond. We haven't really talked much about it, but they have also been flirting throughout this whole entire book. To like kind of like put this in between them because she goes and begs Gray to take her back home, and he won't because his job is to protect Ren and stop the curse. And so he won't do it. And she is generally really upset. For obvious reasons. But like Ren instantly comes after her as soon as he hears the news, and he's like, "Oh my god, I'm so sorry. I tried to like make him do it, but he won't fucking do it. I'm so sorry. It's okay. And like is holding her and all this stuff. And she's like, no, it's fine. I understand why he did it. I would do the same thing if I was in this situation. I'm just on this side of it right now, and I fucking hate it. And we love that for them. We love the communication. Um,
We really do. Like it's not that hard to speak occasionally. I don't know.
but basically, Harper wants to leave. Ren tells Gray to take Harper home. And then I think that at that night, they
Hold
sleep
up.
again.
hold on, because you know the whole thing that he'll do anything within his power, and she's always using that against him. He's like, I knew you'd use that against me. I'm like, ah!
Yep. So they kiss. Harper and Ren kiss. Cause
Listen.
I think he gets Gray to take her back the next morning. So they kiss.
No, when they kissed, I was like, whoa, okay. And then the scales had to go in and ruin it. The stupid scales, but the kiss was so good, but the stupid scales.
Okay, and then to quote the summary, but since Harper
I love
yet
how you're
fallen
like,
in love with
okay,
him,
stop being
the curse
ill
hasn't
so I can
broken.
be plot.
So between that and they slow some down some more, she ends up feeling scales underneath her, and sure, the change is starting to happen. Oh no! That's one of the reasons why he makes Gray take her back, because like they're basically out of time anyways. Why as well protect her from him, right? Gray returns Harper to DC along with some jewels, so that she can pay off her family's debt, and she tells him to come back for her the following day. Her brother Jake really angry about Harper leaving. I should also mention she had on her her brother's cell phone, right, when she was kidnapped, and throughout most of the first like half of this book, she was looking through the photos and she learned that her brother had a boyfriend, and she was upset, not that he has a boyfriend, but that he didn't tell her that he found someone. So that's the whole thing.
Listen, I would also be upset if I was close to anybody ever, and they're like, oh yeah, I've had this boyfriend long enough to say that I love you too, but I'm not going to play. Like, I would be so upset too. Like, be so serious.
So Jake is angry about her leaving, rightfully so. He's like really worried, especially since now she has like this scar on her face and all that stuff. But like he's also kind of happy because she brought back some jewels to cover the family's debts. And then edit quote, it literally goes, one bullet point is like all this stuff about Jake being angry, but being happy because jewels to pay off family's debts. Next bullet point, Harper's mother dies. Next bullet point, Gray and Red wait to meet Carousel and the other kingdom leader. And then they get drunk. Like it literally goes boop boop boop.
They're so real for things like that. Also, my grandma made lemon cake. Right. She took it to this thing and brought home the leftovers. The icing low-key tastes like cleaning supplies, but it's fine. I don't know how much lemon stuff she put in there, but it tastes like cleaning supplies. Anyways.
So Carousel arrives, and basically Ren tries to do this whole thing that's like, hey, he's told everyone that Harper is gone because she went to she was injured in another attack, and she went back home to her kingdom, and she will bring back an army soon. And so when he goes and meets with Karis Lauren at the front gates, he's all like, hey, I have this army, another one's coming, all this stuff, my father, blah, blah, blah. And she's like, boy, give me your father. Oh, wait, you can't, because I know he's fucking dead. And that the whole entire thing with Harper and the armies is fake. Karis tells Ren that his father had an affair and had a child with an enchantress. Before he was born, so he may not actually be like the rightful king. And then Lilith arrives after Karis leaves, and Ren straight up just stabs her. Cause like why not? And he tells Gray to get the people out and tries to jump from the tower. So to like sacrifice himself so he doesn't turn into a beast and kill everyone.
No, listen. Because like that is with him jumping out of the fucking tower, of the tallest fucking tower in the castle. Check in. So it goes to Harper's point of view. I sat there with my jaw was on the fucking floor. I was like, this man did not just try to kill himself right now. That man just did not just kill himself. And then we got to the next chapter, and then.
So he tries to sacrifice himself to protect the people, but he turns into the beast midair, and it has wings. Oh no. And then it switches to Harper, literally right after he jumps out of the window. Harper starts to worry when Gray doesn't return for her. Jake straight up thinks Harper's gone crazy, like she's got some psychological damage from being kidnapped or something.
No,
it's annoying. Yeah, that's the rightful thought process in this. Like,
I hate that he did that, but like, I would also be like, girl, you good? Like,
You know,
me
that's the
too.
rightful
But like,
thought process, and we love it. So she meets Jake's boyfriend Noah. He is a nurse at the
I love
hospital,
Noah.
and
He's
that's
so
how they
real.
met, or like a doctor of some kind in training. That's how they met. Well, he was taking their mom to one of her appointments and whatnot. And all this stuff. She gets more worried. And then Gray arrives her at the front door. Covered in blood and wounds. And Noah fixes him up. He wakes up in the middle of it and starts freaking out and goes to start beating them up. And Jake really does not like him. And Harper comes in and he's like, "It's fine," and he instantly listens to her. Instantly,
I
as soon as he sees her,
honestly,
he like calms down.
Jake
I'm
is
like,
kind of annoying. I'm not gonna lie, but
yeah. Uh, Gray fills her in and asks her to return to Emberfall. Jake argues that Harper should stay with him. And then as soon as that happens, they're like sitting at the table eating food. Men with guns arrive, and so as quickly as he can, Gray grabs onto everyone and teleports them all to Emberfall. Um, and
no, that was
that
crazy too. I was like, oh my god.
yeah. Jameson, who is the one with the amputated arm, arrives and gets them to safety. Harper
Jameson
tells
is so real. I love him.
Me too. Harper tells everyone that Jake is the crown prince of DC, prince of DC, her brother, and that Noah is their healer. All this stuff. Also throughout this whole entire section, you get like a chapter from the Beast's point of view, but like sometimes literally nothing on the page. Sometimes one fucking sentence. Sometimes he'll like smell her and he'll be like something about her, and then move on for like 3 sentences, and that's it. And it was
Honestly,
interesting.
I honestly, I feel like it was necessary. Okay, like I don't know.
I liked it, so I'm not gonna say anything against it. So Gray and Harper plan to lead Ren away from the people, so they have time to flee. Both Ren and Karis's army. Um, so they come across Ren, and he flies away with Harper. He literally just picks her up and leaves. So she tries to fight him, but then, it goes the other way of like reminding him of who she is and their time together. And so basically, she tames the beast. He low-key does what she asks. All the soldiers are like super impressed with her. Um, uh, and then they hear the Karis's army coming. The people haven't left their castle because they're unwilling to leave them behind. Well, most of them haven't. Harper gets Ren to, as Beast, chase Karis's army away. He does so and also kills a lot of them in the process. Uh, but they have a catapult hits Ren. Literally, really got this hazard in here because I literally got nothing from this whole entire battle scene. But in this, Harper is also battled, or injured in battle and passes out. Wakes up in the infirmary, where Noah's working really hard to fucking save people. Lilith visits again and is annoyed by Gray and Ren's bond with Harper.
No one's so real.
She in order to protect Harper, Gray offers his services to Lilith. Lilith takes Gray's sword and tries to kill Ren, but Harper jumps in front of him just in time. So she gets stabbed. Fucking how many bodily injuries does she need? Gray stabs Lilith in the chest and throws her out of Emberfall using a portal. Like he stabs her and then grabs onto her and teleports so that she can't use magic.
No, but like that part was so fucking crazy. When he said, "Yeah, I'll work for you," I was like, "Great!" But he was like, "Nah, JK." I was like, "I love you."
The curse is broken. Yeah. Oh, okay. Now I'm gonna before we go into the last
Hold
two
on.
bullet points.
I love that we don't know if the curse was broken by her or Gray, and I love that.
It gives me I forgot where I was gonna go with that. Anyways, I wanted to go into this thing before we go into the next points. Which is the fact that we both wanted a throuple between Gray, Ren, and Harper. Until something happens at the very end. Like at one point, Ren literally tells Gray to go after her so they can be together after he dies. Like, it's so cute. He literally makes it so they can be together after him. And, but it would be so great if it was just the three of them. Except it's not, because they're actually siblings. Wait for it. So after 6 days, after being stabbed, Harper wakes up to find Ren is back to his usual self. Except
No, I
Ren
don't think you
is still
understand how I'm upset about that. How upset I am about that because like, why were they all fucking flirting with each other?
I
Why were
don't
they?
know.
No, like normal people don't interact like that. Gray was flirting with Ren, and Ren was flirting with Gray, and then they all were both flirting with Harper, and Harper was both flirting with them. They're all flirting with each other at the same fucking time. Why are they fucking brothers? Like, just be so serious. Like, in my head, that never happened. They are not half brothers. Gray is not the rightful crown prince. No, none of that has happened. They're a throuple, and they're not related. Okay? Like, leave me alone in my delusion. Thank you.
So Gray has disappeared. They don't know. One of two things are the theory: either he was injured and died on the other side, or he is stuck on the other side and he can't teleport back. And because of that, Jake and Noah are trapped in Emberfall. I really hate Jake. I'd like to note this. And then there's an epilogue where Gray was injured and has been hiding out with his mother. This says that she is an enchantress. I didn't even get that. I didn't get that at all. But basically, Gray is the king's firstborn son and the heir to the throne, but he leaves saying he doesn't want the throne, and he just leaves to, like, go off in whatever direction and leave Ren and Harper to be together forever. Now, this is where I bring up the synopsis of the second book. I'm not going to look it up, because I know it. I know it brings up Gray going after the throne.
What the fuck?
Which makes no fucking sense, because the end of the book, of this book, literally is him going, I don't want it. I have no desire for it. Ren has been trained in this position. Ren knows the job better. He'd be better at the job. I do not care for it.
You're so serious.
And so he goes off to purposely make it so that he's as far away as possible so that Ren can keep the throne and be with the woman and all this stuff. And then the next book, apparently he goes after the fucking throne, which now I get why people don't like the book after, or the series after book one. Because if it seriously does that, I will scream and then DNF it, and then throw my Kindle against a wall. Probably not, because that thing was expensive, but still, the point stands.
Like, I want to read it, because I love the characters, but if that's how it goes, I don't want it.
I know, right?
Literally just, delete the other two books, and then the Gray's point of view in the end, and then, like, a couple other little sentences here and there, the book would have been perfect. There's one. They would have been throuple material. They wouldn't have been brothers, and none of this would have happened, and they would have been happily ever after all with all them stuck in Emberfall, right? Right? And they could have been a happy little throuple, and Noah and Jake could have had a little moment, and, like, leave us all alone, because what the fuck is wrong with Jake?
Yeah, so basically, from my understanding, there's, like, a bunch of stuff in the kingdom about, the fact that there's rumors about a different prince, who should be the rightful king, and also the fact that, Ren let magic be a thing, in Emberfall and all this stuff. And then Gray has been on the run, and has no desire to challenge Ren until Karis Lurin, threatens to take Emberfall by force, but her daughter is like, hey, I see some flaws in your plan, so she goes and convinces, or at least tries to convince, Gray to stand against Ren, so that he can become king. Her plan is to use use Gray against Ren to get the kingdom.
See, that doesn't make sense to me, because they were so fucking close. They had to spend 300 plus seasons together. Why would they do that? Also, they're brothers. Why would he do that? Like,
it makes zero fucking sense that he'd go after Ren. Like, it makes zero sense.
Like, where is the character? What's it called?
Growth, development.
No. There's a specific,
Consistency.
Consistency works, but that's not the word I was thinking of, but consistency works.
Yeah, I was so happy with this book, and then I read the synopsis I rated it 3.5 stars. In my eyes, that's a good book. It was the best Beauty and the Beast retelling I read this month.
Okay? It was so good. Like, it was so good.
And then I read the synopsis of the second one when I go to add it to my TBR, and then fucking pull this shit on me. What the hell?
Yeah, no, I think
writing.
I can stick to the fan fictions I found and read those and go on with my life.
Honestly, maybe I will try the second one, but I'm scared.
Listen, I need you to tell me automatically whenever you do pick it up. I need you to tell me straight up, and then I will or won't. You know?
Mm. Yeah, I'm. Yeah, and they also get worse and worse according to the ratings
Wow.
as they go on. Also, the second one has almost a third of the ratings, just over a third of the ratings, as the first one does on Goodreads.
I don't know what that means. I know on
It means
Goodreads the first one has a 4.1.
there's over 56,000 for the second one. There's over 138,000 for the first one. The difference is exponential. It's like over double. And then the third one is 35,000 ratings, which is like really low in comparison.
Because the first one was good, the rest of them are shit, and that's what
Yeah,
happened.
no.
I feel
From
like
the
the
sounds of
first
it,
one's
the
really
people read
good,
the
and then
first
they're
one,
like,
they were fine with it, or they read the synopsis of the second one, or they continued the second one and they just didn't read it because oh my god. And then most people didn't finish from there.
yeah, I'm gonna go with my delusion with the fact that they're not brothers and they all lived happily ever after. I was like, Thurple.
I couldn't dream a dream. Yeah, I really contemplated not putting it on my TBR after I read that. I was like, what the hell? I'll give it a try. But if I instantly don't like it, I'm gonna get out of there as soon as like they start to try to make if they like actually make Gray go after Ren. I'm gonna instantly get out of there. I'm gonna be like, no, I'm gonna live in this delusion with Stingray where they're not brothers and we can have a thruple dream. Okay, I need
Real.
thruples in my life.
I need to get on it. I need to get on the fanfiction game just for us personally, honestly.
Hilariously, um, soon I will be reading a thruple that is also a Beauty and the Beast retelling.
I'm sick.
Because
And it won't be as good as The Curse So Dark and Lonely. And you
it
can't
probably will
be
be better because it'll be Katie Robert. No, one
Oh,
of Wicked
God.
Villain's books is a Beauty and the Beast retelling
You
that
didn't
is
tell me. I'm confused. I don't know what's going on
that's
anymore.
a throuple.
Is it the one you sent me already, or is
No,
you
that's a
sent
different
me?
series. She has a bunch of series.
Girl, I don't know what's going
That's the
on.
third book in the Neon Gods, Dark Olympus series. This is the Wicked Villain series. That one
Okay,
is Greek gods. This one is Disney retellings.
got
Usually
it.
where
I
the villain
understand.
ends up with the heroine or hero. You know,
Got it.
sometimes. Like the first one is Jasmine and Jafar.
Yes, I know that.
And the Beauty and the Beast one is Belle, the Beast, and Gaston.
Okay, like I understand where Harper was like Belle and like blah 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 blah. Where was everybody else? Can you explain that to me a little bit?
Um,
Like,
you
it's
know,
so confusing.
at least there was magical instruments and things in that castle. Like there was no actual people working there because cursed a
Yeah.
long time ago. But
Wasn't Gray
like the
supposed to be
cursed
like?
castle thing, kind of actually like because a lot of the Beast retellings don't actually do the cursed castle thing. They just do like evil beastly guy and beautiful woman. Blah 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 blah. Make our happy end.
Okay, but like I haven't read that many retellings, but like this one and
I've
then
read so
like
many this
the
month.
Lunar Chronicles, they're so good. Like those are good retellings to me
You know
until
what's
we
also
go
a
on
good
to the other
retelling?
further.
Legendborn.
What is it a retelling of?
Arthurian.
Oh, why did I even ask? I should have known it's you. It's
You should have known.
you.
I'm literally recording an Arthurian retelling vlog right now where I'm reading the sequel.
Listen, and I'm reading the first one specifically for you and your birthday, and I'm making a video out of it just for you. Do you want to do a podcast episode on it too?
I mean, I wouldn't mind. I've already reread it this much. Let's go. I re-edited it. It was a good time. It's a
I mean,
great
it'd be
book.
different from our usual content just slightly with what we've had planned, you know, so it'd be fun.
Yeah. But yeah, the next episode of the podcast will be the first in the Wicked Villain series, Desperate Measures. It will be a reread for me, but I am going to reread it because it's been like 2 years. I want to say I read it in January or February in 2020. It was my first wrap up. I remember that. I think it was my first wrap up. Fucking wild. Imagine that. I'm gonna look it up. Where's my channel? There's my channel.
Oh, thank you, because I kept going to open YouTube Studio because I remember I needed to do something, and that just reminded me. I'm so sad to do this, but like, shit fucking happens, I guess. Where is it? Why is it so? Have I really posted that many videos? It's been goddamn.
I know, right?
That's so sad. That's so devastating. The thumbnail's ugly anyway, so it don't matter. Back when I was consistently uploading, who would have thought? Who would have
Oh
thought?
no, it was last year. February of last year. But yeah, I'm gonna reread it. I did write a brief review on Goodreads. Communication, we don't know her. Someone explained to me why the coup is more interesting than the romance / intimacy. I will stand fucking by this. I vividly, at least once a week, I remember the ending scene with her coming out in the white dress and then her murdering him, slicing his throat, and getting covered in red over her white outfit and being a boss ass bitch. Okay, I remember this vividly. And this is great.
Rosalie Core.
I loved it.
You're not laughing at my Twilight joke and it's making that.
I know. And I rated 3.5 stars. So you know that was the thing. But I stand by that ending. That fucking ending was spectacular. But also I've read more Katie Roberts now, so I think I know more of what I like in her books. So that's good. And I'll actually continue the series and finish it for this podcast. Imagine that. So that's the next episode. Cause yeah, good times. Do you have anything else to say?
No, I do. I love them. I love them. Why are they all flirting with each other? I love them. Like, I was giggling and kicking my feet. Like, I love them. Why are they like that? I love the character. I love characters. I love books. I love people in books. I love them. They're so nice.
Imagine loving books. I could never.
Imagine being a nerd.
Well, I especially could never this month because I didn't read anything for like 2 weeks.
No, hold on. We gotta get into this one. I'm not a nerd. You are a nerd because
I have no clue what you're fucking talking about. I have not seen every Star Wars movie at least 5 times. I have not seen every season of Doctor Who. I have not seen all the Star Trek movies. I have not seen... Would you like me to continue? Or can we stop? I've not seen every Lord of the Rings at least a dozen times. Be happy. I am not forcing you to watch all the Lord of the Rings movies for my birthday.
I would say no, automatically no. Like, I love you,
but it's like 24 hours with the
I
extended
love
edition.
you, but no.
It's a good night now, and then I can tell you other fun facts. Like,
listen, the only way you would get me to watch those
that
movies
helmet after the hobbits are kidnapped, that actual scream he does is actually Viggo Mortensen screaming, because when he kicked that helmet, he actually broke his toe, so that's like his actual scream in pain.
Okay, but like,
that's a meme.
The only way I would ever watch any of those movies is if you kidnapped me.
Okay.
Or vice versa, and we had nothing else to do.
Or we just watched Breaking Dawn.
We would get tired of reading. We would already watch Twilight, and we wouldn't be in the reading mood, and we have literally nothing else to watch, because you probably already made me watch Pride and Prejudice 27 times.
Mm-hmm.
And you'd be like, can I watch Lord of the Rings? And I'd be like, I will kill myself but go off, I guess.
Yes. I don't remember. Yeah,
I need to stop giggling like a maniac.
So after this, this comes out after my birthday, so we will have already talked about the movie I'm forcing you to watch for my birthday, my favorite movie of all time, and like my top, I don't know if it's like actually my favorite. I have like top 3 or something like that are like all my favorites and I can't choose between them. Of course, Pride and Prejudice is on the list, but we're already watching that for a podcast episode at some point, so I just pushed that to the side. We are going to watch The Arrival, that has Amy Adams and Jeremy Renner.
I have a question. Mm-hmm. Is that the same Arrival as the one poster in Tal's room in Heartstopper?
I don't think so, but maybe.
Okay. I don't know. I don't know movies lore.
It's got aliens.
I know there's a Johnny Darko poster on his wall, and he's so real for that, because I do like Johnny Darko, even though Jake Gyllenhaal...
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Uh-huh.
I also like
That's like
Nightcrawler, even though
me
Jake
liking.
Gyllenhaal.
That's another thing. I've watched every Marvel movie. I've also watched every DC movie and all the shows. It's fine.
Okay,
Um,
nerd.
but no. The second Spider-Man, Tom Holland Spider-Man movie. Is it that one, Homecoming? I think. I don't remember. It has Jake Gyllenhaal in it, and it's like a great movie. But then Jake Gyllenhaal's in it, so I'm like,
Like, he's
ah.
a good actor. He's good at what he does, but why is he a terrible person? Like, why
Well,
was
the
he a
whole
gross
entire
person at the time
fucking
in his
plot
life?
of the movie is that Jake Gyllenhaal's character is befriending childhood Spider-Man, who's like 16 years old, and dealing with the death of Iron Man, like a father figure to him, and all this stuff. Um, and he befriends him and basically tricks him into trusting him, so that he gives him tech, so that he can out Spider-Man as like as Spider-Man, and like out his secret identity and all this stuff. And it's a big fakey fake, um, which we love.
So many real life coincidences. Hee hee.
Cue all too well the 10-minute version while I cry. I love that
No,
song
because
too
I
much.
love Donnie Darko. Like, you don't, like, Donnie Darko is legitimately one of my favorite movies, and like, I understand that was feature him that did all that stuff. Like, it's still tainted, you know?
Yeah,
I also
yeah,
really like Nightcrawler. Like, I've watched Nightcrawler multiple times as well.
that's another thing. I've
Why
seen
is
all
he
those
so good at playing
extra movies.
crazy people? Like, that's kind of concerning.
I know, right?
Like, Bestie,
Um,
you're good in your head. There's no way you can be good in your head. You're playing people like this, and very spot on, like, correctly. Like, sir,
sir.
red
Um,
flag number 2-1. You're
but
good at
yes,
your
I
job.
will be showing Stingray a sci-fi movie that is a very complicated plot thing. I don't want
Which
to
will
say
go right
anything.
over my head.
Oh, I'm expecting it to because it took me like 3 or 4 subsequent watches for me to fully understand this movie. So I am fully expecting to have to sit you
I will
down
try
afterwards
to
and
say background
explain to
questions
you
as we're
what
watching.
things happening throughout the movie further prove and lend towards this whole entire thing that was happening throughout this movie that you will not recognize that's happening until like the last like I don't know 10 minutes, and then it will all fall into place, and then it'll be like, what the fuck? It's great.
Hear
I
me out.
love this movie so much. It's so good.
Hear me
Uh,
out. I will not ask you any questions during that. I will just write them all down, and as we go
yes.
through, I'll be like, what about this? What about this? What about that? And that? But like, I don't understand that. But like, what was that about? And like,
I
what the
will
fuck was
like
that? And why was that scary? But why was that? But you know, I don't know. Yeah.
yeah. It's a great movie. I love this movie. I've watched it like 6 times. And I was wanting to watch it again, but here's the thing. I've watched it so many times. I know all the beats already, so it kind of feels useless to watch it again. Despite the fact that the more times you watch it, the better it gets because the more you notice things. And so after like my fourth watch, I've started to show it to people, and that's how I rewatch it. But I don't have anyone who will watch it with me. So now I'm
That's
forcing
what
you to
I'm
watch it
for,
with me.
Bestie.
I'm so excited. It's a good time. You will probably be confused the whole time. Don't worry. That's how you're supposed to be. I would also like to let you know it has cold, wet vibes.
Oh, real. I will love it. I will eat it up.
You will, as soon as the music starts for this movie, you will get the cold, wet vibes. Also, Amy Adams' character throughout the whole entire movie, cold, wet vibes. So, like, for anyone else, this makes no sense, but as soon as you tried to describe to me what cold, wet vibes were, I instantly thought of this movie.
I
So,
just cold with vibes. Okay, like I just there's
it's a
the
good time. It's a good time. Of course, we've probably already talked about your thoughts on this movie before this episode comes out. So, like, that's fine.
listen.
Unless if I remember to, like, make it so we don't talk about this movie until we film the Wicked Villains one episode, which is a possibility. But yeah, it's a great movie. That's my note. It is 8 p.m. here. I gotta go.
Wow, you're gonna leave me as if you've been on call off and on all day. So off, I
Yes.
guess.
Yeah, yes, yes. 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 Um, do we have anything else to say on this episode? I don't think so. We already talked about what the next episode's gonna be.
Why are my
Uh,
Buffalo dreams always crushed?
I don't know. Oh, also, after this, the next episode that isn't an erotica, because we've been doing the on-off erotica things, you'll be very excited to know this. This is how far down the list we are on my notepad. the one after Wicked Villains, is Trist 6 Venom.
Yes!
Someone made me excited. So if you
That
don't want to
was
listen to
me
the
episode. I
erotica
get to speak.
episodes,
I get to speak so much. I'm so excited, and you get all the lore because you DNF the book. I'm kind of mad at you for DNF the book, but it's understandable that you DNF the book. But like, you know.
yeah. Yeah. So one, you get a Stingray focused episode. Two,
Don't you
it's a
love
long ass book, so you may need the extra time to read it if you want to read it before
Listen.
the episode.
Listen, I took extensive notes. I'm gonna go back through and rewrite them all, so they'll be like
How
a
very
whole
me
nice
of
thing.
you.
Listen, I'll show you. I'll send you pictures of it when I'm finally done with all of it,
I'm
because
so
I've been putting
excited.
that off rewriting them.
It's gonna be a good time. But yeah, so with that knowledge, I'm gonna end off this episode, and say goodbye.